It's a tale as old as time, darkness versus the light. Can the Dark Knights triumph over Omnimon and his friends?
I don't have friends. I got family.
The Royal Knights player is going to start, they'll hatch the King Drasil, and then at start of main, it puts another into the stack straight away. They're then going to play the DarkKnightmon at a reduced cost of 5 because of the number of sources under King Drasil, able to grab 2 of the Royal Knights. It's going to be Examon and Omnimon. I'm going to take my turn, I'm going to hatch the Pugumon and Digivolve into the Tumon. Got a lot of memory to work with being at 5, and that's exactly where Dark Knight likes to be. I'm going to play out the Deadly Axemon. Looking at the top 5 cards of my deck, I'm able to grab 2 Digimon with Dark Knight in their name, so I grab both of the Mighty Axe modes, and then I'm going to Digivolve for 1 into the Cavalier mode, just looking for some other pieces that I want, and then Digivolving into the DarkKnightmon. Will hopefully insulate me from any deletion effects. Dynasmon gets pulled into the King Drasil stack, and then another one gets added to it from the starter main effect. Then going to play out the Examon. Examon's on play is going to suspend my DarkKnightmon and then make sure that it can't unsuspend in the next unsuspend phase. I'm going to move out the Tumon, and then I'm going to play the Monimon. That's going to cost me 3, and then I get to look at the top 4, grabbing a Dark Knight or a Deadly Axe. I see no valid targets, so they all go to the bottom. I'm going to continue to flood the board by playing out a Mighty Axe mode, and I'm going to use the cross conditions to put under the Sec +1 Skull Knightmon, and also just another Big Axe mode, so no inheritables there. But that just means I've got 4 bodies on the board, hopefully to do a number of checks next turn. I'm doing the search with the Big Axe mode, and I'm going to choose to grab the new Deadly Axemon. The rest go to the trash. My opponent is going to start their turn before they pull in the Axemon. They're going to draw and then add it to the stack. They've only got 1 memory to work with. The final King Drasil is also added to the stack as well, and then they're going to play Jesmon for only 2 cost. It's going to be able to delete the Mighty Axe mode and also the Tumon. I'm going to be able to use the Pugumon effect to draw the Chikurimon, and then I'm going to be able to unsuspend my DarkKnightmon. Finally, I will hatch the Pugumon, not before I check how many cards I drew and make sure that I draw for start of turn. Hatch the Pugumon, and then I'm going to swing at security, just 1 check at 9k, so I will survive, which is kind of good for me. And then I'll Digivolve into the Chikurimon in Raising, swing with the Monimon, absolutely getting deleted by the Omnimon there, and then playing the Kiriha and Nene. Jesmon is going to get pulled into the King Drasil stack, so things are now going to be at a reduced cost of 10, I believe. They're then going to play the All Force for 1. It's going to strip my sources, so I'm no longer protected, and then they're playing the Marcus. It's going to cost 5, but they're able to spend to gain a memory and give minus 3000 DP to the DarkKnightmon. That's alright though, I will unsuspend. I'm going to move out the Chikurimon, and I'm going to gain memory because of Kiriha and Nene's effect. I will swing at security with the Chikurimon. That is going to get deleted, and then I can look at the top card. It is a Black War Greymon Ace. And then I'm going to Digivolve into the DarkKnightmon X Antibody. So I'm going to be able to delete the markers. It only cost me 4, so I'm setting them to 1 again, hopefully enough to make sure that they can't actually end here. All Force is going to get pulled into the stack, and then they can play out Gankumon only for a cost of 2, which is also going to play out another Digimon. They're going to play out the Examon, which is going to stall them another turn, which is really annoying. But they won't be safe forever. I'm going to start my turn. I will draw, hatch another Pugumon. Kiriha and Nene is going to gain me a memory. I'll Digivolve into the Tumon in Raising, and then I'm going to play the Gaia Reactor. So both get to keep Digimon with the highest play cost, and I'm just hoping that gives me enough time to actually get something out and do some swings and win the game. Examon is going to be pulled into the stack, and then they're going to play out the Craniumon, so they've got a blocker to kind of prevent me from doing any of those shenanigans. It's only going to cost them 2 as well because of the amount of sources King Drasil has. Playing out the Marcus so that I'm at 2, they're also going to have a memory setter now, so Omnimon will be able to be played no matter what I do, really. I'm then going to move out the Tumon, gain a memory for the Kiriha Nene effect, and playing out the DarkKnightmon. This does give them a lot more memory than I want to work with, because they're being set. It's just what it is. I'm also going to have some insulation from their deletion effects, hopefully. They're going to force me to attack with the DarkKnightmon X Antibody, and they'll block with the Craniumon, but I get to play out the Dark Knight, so I've just got another stack ready to go.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary.
'Tis but a scratch.
A scratch? Your arm's off.
No, it isn't.
Well, what's that then?
I've had worse.
So I'm not out yet, but we'll see what happens this turn. My opponent is going to do some ominous counting. They can reduce the cost of any Royal Knight by 12, so they're going to play Omnimon for 2. Wow, so the Yggdrasils are going to go away. They're going to play out all of their Royal Knights.
This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would.
They all have Rush because of Omnimon's effect, and now they're all going to proc their abilities. So you're going to start with the Old Force. It's going to strip the sources from the Dark Knight. Then they're going to do the search from the Dynasmon. So looking at the top 4, then going to grab 2 Digimon, trash the rest. Doesn't really matter what he grabbed at this point. Jesmon is going to delete pretty much everything, I believe. If not, the Dynasmon cleans up any level 4s or lower. I have a couple of on deletion effects pending, so I'm going to make sure that I remember which ones were under my Dark Knight. Pagumon effect is going to see Bagramon, so don't get that one. And then these come out suspended, searching with the Deadly Axe mode, and I'm able to grab 2 of the Knights, so just grabbing a couple that I see there. We'll see if I survive to play them. They're then going to start by swinging with the Old Force at security, bouncing the Skull Knight to hand. First check is a Monimon. I'm going to swing with the Examon. Effect is going to be able to unsuspend the Old Force, so just extra checks there. Going to swing with the Old Force again, bouncing my other Digimon to hand, swinging with the Craniumon. Yep, they're just going through me. That's going to be it. Really was hoping for an option there, but game 2 might be different. They're going to start, going to hatch the King Drasil, and they do see the Magnamon, so I'm not going to have as good of a first turn as I wanted to. Going to hatch the Pokemon, Digivolve into the Monimon, then play out the Pride Memory Boost. So let's see if we get a good search. And it's actually just garbage. I cannot play anything from that, and it's just going to pass turn. My opponent is going to see Magnamon get pulled in, hatch another King Drasil, and they get to draw a card because of Magnamon's effect. Now going to play the option card, the Royal Knight Purge. So they're going to be able to put one of their Royal Knights underneath their King Drasil in raising, then going to gain a memory for each of the sources that they have under the King Drasil, so 2. I'm going to move out my Monimon, swing at security, and we see the Tamer. That's going to be unfortunate. They do get to suspend, gain a memory, and then delete the Monimon. Pagumon effect is just completely forgotten about for some reason. Sorry about that. I'm going to play another Pride Memory Boost. This time I do hit the SBmon, so I'm able to reveal the top card of their security. If it's a Digimon, I draw a card, and I know that that little dude is going to be low enough DP that I can swing over it if I set up correctly. My opponent's turn starts. They're going to do another King Drasil effect. They're going to play another of this Royal Knight's Purge. I'm going to be able to put under a Digimon, putting under the Craniumon, and then they gain 3 memory, keeping it their turn. Going to play out a Dynasmon so they can search. They're going to grab the Gallant and the Jesmon. They should go to trash, but they put them into the deck for some reason. And playing out a third of the Purge.
That's going to work out. I have triples with the Nova now. Triples makes it safe. Now, triples is best. Yeah. That's good.
They have an insane board set up. They're going to be able to put under the Gallantmon. They don't gain the memory back because it's the King Drasil effect that does it. It's only once per turn. Going to hatch the Pugumon, Digivolve the SBmon into a Skull Knightmon for some setup. I'm going to Digivolve in raising into the Tumon. Then I'm going to play out the Deadly Axemon. So costs 4, puts me at 0. Looking at the top 5, I'm going to grab the Crossing DarkKnightmon and also a Mighty Axe mode, adding both of those to hand. Then I will swing with the Skull Knight. I'm able to use the effect so that I can Digivolve for free into the Dark Knight. Let's get some checks in and then get deleted.
Oh, what the hell's going on over here?
Oh, Frank's trying to kill himself.
Oh my God, is he all right? Frank, are you all right?
Don't try to stop me.
First check we know is the Omekamon, so we'll clear that. And then second check is a Dynasmon, so it will be deleted. And playing out the Skull Knight and the Deadly Axe, looking at the top 5, I'm going to grab both the X Antibody Dark Knight and also the EX4 Dark Knight, just in case I need some blocker on the field. Then going to crack both of my Pride Memory Boosts because I'm looking at the board and it's looking pretty intimidating. I'm going to cross out the BT10 Dark Knight, so that way I might be able to do some shenanigans and keep some blockers on the field because I'm going to play Nini. Nini's going to allow me to look at the top 4 cards of the deck. I'm going to just be able to grab the Cavalier mode. The rest will go to the bottom of the deck in any order. And then it's going to be my opponent's turn. They have 3 memory to work with because of the setter as well. Dynasmon gets pulled under and they're able to reduce costs by 12 already. It only costs 1 to play the Gankumon. Going to play out the Dynasmon so that they can search. They're going to grab the Lord Knightmon and the Alphamon. They put them to the bottom of the deck again, so they've just forgotten that it should go to trash. They're going to crack one of the Royal Knight Purges. They're going to play out the Leopardmon, so they're going to get blocker on everything. Also going to be able to delete all of my level 4 and lowers from the Dynasmon effect, cracking another of the purges to play out a Craniumon. So now I've got a really big blocker that's going to be able to force me to attack. Leopardmon is going to swing at security, and it is fine. They do have rush from the option card as well. Swinging with the Craniumon, they're going to see the Immortal Ruler option card, which just adds to my hand, so they're totally fine. They're going to play Jesmon with the Leopardmon's effect, which means that it's only going to cost them 7. I then get deleted by adding one of the cards in the sources back to my hand. I'm able to play the other one out, so I'm going to make sure that I have the Sec +1 Skull Knight on the board. Moving out the Tumon, I'm going to Digivolve into the Cavalier mode. I then remember that all of his Digimon have blocker, so this is probably not a good choice. Playing out the Kiriha and Nini, so they've got some memory, and then playing the Immortal Ruler, so trashing the top 3 cards of my deck. Then going to play out the Crossing Dark Knight again. Going to use the Kiriha and Nini to grab some things from trash to be able to cross. I'm going to use both the new Deadly Axe and DarkKnightmon, so that way I've got a pretty decent stack to work with, and if it gets deleted, I've still got things that I can use. I'll swing with the Cavalier mode because I've been forced to with Craniumon. It gets blocked, and then all of these Digimon get pulled under.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
My opponent is just going to play the Omnimon, so we've seen this before. All the Yggdrasils go straight to trash. Then playing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Digimon that all have rush. Deleting the Tumon because of the Dynasmon's effect. It's going to draw me a card with Pugumon. Then going to use the Jesmon effect to delete the DarkKnightmon. Going to play out the Deadly Axemon by putting the Skull Knight to hand. Then I can trash one of the Nightmons that I have so that I can draw 2. They're then going to be able to delete that as well with the Gallantmon effect, swing with Craniumon, then they're going to swing with the Leopardmon, swinging with the Jesmon, and then finishing the game using the Gallant. I do have to do the Nini search because they hit that. I was really hoping for a Gaia Reactor in there, which would have been funny as, but it looks like the Royal Knights take it.
All right, we'll call it a draw.